Welcome everyone to the CANDU Sports Show. We got your host Donray Bennett pointing because he's on this side of my screen, and yours truly, Scott Blair. Really excited to have another episode for y'all today. How you feeling, Donray?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Repping the
Gotta give a
College of
shout out.
Arts.
Yeah, University of Akron, Brooklyn College of Arts and Sciences. That's where your boy can be found. Having a great year thus far. Trying to make a run at this tournament. Also want to give a shout out to my cousin Caleb Macri with the getting an offer from Marist, first of many to come. And so waiting for Kutztown to reach out, but we'll see what happens. Um, but no,
No
so
comment.
Right. No, shout out to him. It's a big step. I could only imagine getting offers and feeling wanted by programs at the top level of college basketball. So, but that's what's going on my side of things. How about you?
Man, I'm excited to talk some sports with you. And we got a lot of catching up to do. Just so our viewers know, right? We've been doing some traveling over the last 2 weeks or so with
Hmm.
work-related items. So yeah, I'm excited to talk sports with you and to talk. I know we want to focus on the Super Bowl. I know it was about a week and a half ago. But man, we had an awesome game. We had an amazing halftime performance. So we certainly want to talk about that real quick, and then we're going to spend some time talking about the NBA, the All-Star game, um, and the home stretch because they got about a third of the season left. April's going to be here before you know it. So let's talk about
Absolutely.
Super Bowl. How you
Absolutely.
feeling?
Wait. Before we get into that, you gotta tell the people where you played. I believe brother Blair, coach Hall of Fame coach Blair hit the links at a very select club. Tell the people where you were and what you shot.
Yeah, I was lucky to have a work excursion and had the chance to play down in Jacksonville with my colleagues and experienced TPC Sawgrass. We were not
Nice.
at the stadium course. We did not have access because the Players' Championship is a month away. So, of course, they have to make sure the course is in solid condition. Um, but yeah, we were able to play. We were still able to be on the property and, of course, play their other course there, and had a great time. Sunny day, but Donray, it was 50 degrees when we teed off, and the winds were like 30, 40 miles an hour. No joke. Like we were, we were frigid. We're sitting in Florida, and it's like, man, this feels like Pennsylvania. So,
Wow.
with the weather, but we had a good time. It was a lot of fun to be on the course and to just think, a month in the future, this is where the golf world is going to be. So, yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. I did
Nice.
okay. Had some good shots. Had a couple of long range. Did all right. But
All
first
right.
outing of the season, there was a whole lot of rust there too. So I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie.
Cool.
All
Cool.
good.
No outhouse shots,
No,
balls ringing around and coming back up.
we'll bless the viewers with that story maybe when the Masters comes up in April. So
Sounds good. Sounds good.
that's
Sounds
great.
good. All right. So let's get to business.
That's a good
Uh,
one.
so the Super Bowl. I
Mm.
mean, it was a
Great
close
game.
game.
Yeah,
Yep.
really good game.
Yep. Game that went to overtime. Um, can't ask for much more than that. My prediction was
Yeah,
pretty close. I said
yeah.
24-20, I think. Um, but I'm glad Kansas City won. Um, I'm very intrigued about the firing of the defensive coordinator that
Mm.
held
You know what that
Kansas
was.
City to 19 points in regulation. I
You
mean,
know
what
what
are
that
we
was.
talking about here?
Yeah,
Absolutely ridiculous.
yeah.
I
That was
mean,
cover. He's the fall guy.
but you can't justify. No one believes in as a fall guy.
Mm.
It wasn't the defense's fault that they lost.
Yeah. No,
What are
no.
we talking about? Yeah, one of
It,
the top defenses in the top defense in the league for an entire season that takes you to the Super Bowl, one in which you hold the offense to 19 points in regulation.
the only drive that they gave up, right? The only drive they gave up for a touchdown was in overtime,
Hmm.
right? The only touchdown they scored in regulation was off of a freaking turnover. The defense did, yeah, you said it. The offense did not. And listen, we want to see Coach Shanahan. At least I do. I want to see Coach Shanahan win. I want him to do well. but whenever he's in these situations, he comes up small. Like his play calling selection. I think many people articulated the fact that when he got into crunch time, could have ran the ball a little bit. Could have ran the ball a little bit. You got now. Granted, Kansas City's front seven did a pretty good job. If we had B Webb on here, he would do a little breakdown of how they will lock up the line
Hmm.
of scrimmage. But they were pretty successful in getting McCaffrey out in space with some passes out into the flat. I think they ran a screen pass or two where they were able to get him to break out. Um, but still, I'm of the school of thought of handing it off to run the clock. And even if it's only a 2 yard gain, that's still 40 seconds off the clock.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't.
And yeah, their offense had the ball in multiple positions to
Yeah,
finish the game. So,
yeah.
and moreover, but what do you think about the decision um
Oh, yeah. Ask me. Go ahead.
to receive the ball in overtime?
Yeah, you got to know that he didn't know the rules. He didn't know.
I was
I'm
I was going to
actually
say if they would have came out stronger and just been like, yes, we know the rules, and the way for the fourth quarter went, we thought if we score a touchdown, we win because we're going to hold them to a field goal. If we score a field goal, we get the third possession and we'll win because they're not going to score on us. That's how much confidence I have in my defense and my defensive coordinator. If they come out and say that,
didn't.
one, that might it still doesn't support his decision to fire him, but it would make more sense. And two, then you're acting like you know the rules. You are giving yourself a buffer in the event that you couldn't score a touchdown. You had confidence that your defense would stop, and now it makes sense because if you score on on that third possession, you win. Having said that, you are giving them four downs every time. Like
Yep.
it's way different. That first fourth down was inside their 35.
And you're
They're not
assuming,
going for it on 3rd and 6 from their own 28.
and you're
If you
assuming you're going to get it on that third possession. You're
and
assuming
you
you're,
right
yeah.
and you're going to score on that third, but like the idea that you give them okay, I know what I gotta do. I gotta go for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2 the entire time until I'm in field goal range is crazy. It's crazy. Even if you score a touchdown, let's say you score a touchdown, they now have four downs every time they get the ball to get a first down because they have to score.
Makes no
There's
sense.
there's no doubt. So, um, yeah, it made no sense. You're not going to convince me of that. And it's night and day because Andy Reid's team were well aware of what was going on and what they needed to do. So, kudos
Yeah,
to them.
I really got nothing else to contribute. You said it all.
Good.
Yeah, the offense for San Francisco has more than enough talent that they should have put up more than
Sure.
they did. In the first half, they dominated and only scored what, 10 points? Like
Yeah.
that's where the game. It's fair to also mention this. I don't know if this has been stated as much as it could have been stated. If that extra point is made in the fourth quarter, we may also not be having this conversation either, because then at the very end, Kansas City has to score a touchdown, not kick a field goal. And
Although
you know,
maybe they score. But
true.
you're right. The rest of the game plays out differently.
Yep.
The confidence level of San Fran coming down, they probably don't even care. I mean, they're milking time. It could be a lot of differences. You're right. If that extra point doesn't go that way, but at the end of the day, they had a chance.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
it
The
is.
NFL's happy. They got Taylor Swift at the game. They got a halftime performance.
Oh, I'd
That
rather
had a
talk about
ton of
that.
eyes.
I'd rather
And
talk about that.
yeah, and they got an overtime game. You can't ask for more if you're looking
Yeah.
for a championship game.
Claps to Usher. Man, you did that right. You did it for the culture. It was great to see everyone out there. I know for me, I got excited when Ludacris showed up. That's just me, Lil Jon. I thought they did that right. That was just flawless, fantastic. Definitely top five Super Bowl performances. So
Nice. And I admittedly can't. I think you asked this already, and I mentioned this before. I just can't. For someone who can, I can compartmentalize with the best of them. Anything, emotion and everything else. Some would say it's a downside, but I can't do it on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm there for football. Anything else is in the way,
okay.
with the exception of good food, um, and good gambling. but like boxes and stuff, of course. But I can't. It's like this is taking away from it's changing the game right now. They should be out back on the field. It's still got another 15 minutes. So typically I walk away, I'll glance at it. I'm not saying I don't appreciate the work that goes into those halftime efforts. But it's hard for me to,
I hear you. I
I
hear
just
you.
can't do it. I just
It,
can't
de-
do it.
it depends on the performance. So I'm all of a sudden I blanked on who my fifth top five Super Bowl performance, but just Michael Jackson,
Okay.
Prince. Of course, Prince was also when the Bears were last there. But Prince killed it in a rainstorm
In the
playing the
rain,
electric
purple rain,
guitar, right?
in the rain.
Amazing. I thought Bruno Mars was amazing, especially when he had Beyonce out there with
Yep.
him. And of
Yep.
course, last year with Snoop and Dr. Dre.
Dre.
And then, yeah, I would put Usher as in the top five. So there's the five.
You know who I would throw in there?
Who that?
Katy Perry's.
That was a good one. I would
It
add
was
that.
so
Yeah.
ridiculous. I liked it. I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't
I'm in here for it.
for
Yeah.
it being what it
Honorable mention.
I was a big fan of that. And the others, I have no argument with your others. I don't know who I'd take out, but I definitely I might take out Usher. Although I don't know.
Usher, it was
Michael Jackson,
clean.
I don't really remember Michael Jackson's performance that well.
It
I
was
remember the other ones.
I think it was
I
Super
think
Bowl.
Prince is number one,
It was one
by
of
the
the
way.
Buffalo Bills. I think it was like Super Bowl 25 or
Mm,
26. But he was on the stage. It felt like for forever.
yeah, like I remember him. I
Yeah.
remember what he wore, and I remember him, but I don't remember the performance as much. I might have been running around, but
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's keep it. We're trying to keep
Yeah. Let's move it.
let's keep it
NBA.
moving.
Let's move it to the
NBA.
NBA. Speaking
Oof.
of performance, let's start with this since we're speaking about our love for music. Babyface, you killed that national anthem, my
Mm,
man. Like that was amazing. That was Marvin Gaye-esque with respect to the national anthem. Snaps and kudos.
yes,
That
yes.
was
Round of
amazing.
applause.
Amazing. All-Star game, the best thing, Babyface national anthem, Sabrina Ionescu and Steph Curry
I love that.
should have been 2 rounds. Should
Yeah,
have been 2 rounds.
yeah. I'm for that. I do like, or here's something else I was thinking was, um, like last year's champs, or if they're crowned as they are. Well, everyone had them as champs. The final two in the men's 3-point go off against them, and then it's a four-way final round. Um, well, maybe
Well,
not, but I like your idea of final two. I did want to see them go head to head because she missed. Well, so did he. They both missed the two, um, single shots in between the top rack. Because if she hits one, I don't know.
it was a difference of 2 shots, right? He made
Yeah,
29 and she had 26. Like,
yeah,
and the only difference between and Kenny Smith, go sit down somewhere. Like you're nonsense. She shot a different ball. She shot the WNBA ball, but other than that, it was the same distance, and she had the same score as the guys who went to the finals, right?
yep,
Like, because she's
yeah,
one of the best shooters on the planet too.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
set up
And
perfectly.
she started out on fire too. She had her first six. I was like, oh my God, if she would have repeated that
Hmm,
effort that she did last year, which I'm not sure will ever be repeated. Um, that's
amazing.
not a fluke, man. That's not a
No,
fluke to be able to shoot like that when the pressure is on, because she still
yeah.
had a great round. She said a great round.
You know, it would be awesome then for next year. They already said this, and it's already set up nicely for him. If Caitlin Clark declares she gets picked by the Indiana Fever, there you go. You got Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, and then you get Steph Curry and you get Dame Lillard, right? But here's what I want to add is a little bit of little salt and pepper to it. Okay. Someone call Reggie Miller and say, work on your game. We want to get you out here to shoot too. Get Reggie Miller out.
Ah,
Get Reggie Miller out. I'm just saying. I would like to see a little nostalgia. I mean, they do that sometimes when they do the whole celebrity game. I think they were doing like a
yeah,
three on three
that's
thing
not
a
a
few
bad
years
idea. Have
ago.
like an old version. Well, if you want to do that, then get them all. I want to see. If you
You
want
want
to
to
get,
see
I
Larry
want to
can't
see.
shoot no more, probably.
No, but you can get Ray Allen. What about Hodges? Let's get him back.
He needs the respect. They should name the trophy after him.
Thank
Three
you.
straight wins.
I mean, you can't not have him if
No.
you want to try, get
Kids,
respect history.
kids, look him up.
Um,
You all know about Colin Kaepernick and his thing with the NFL. Look up Craig Hodges in the NBA. Just saying.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So the game itself, I think, is pretty well documented. The game, 200 plus points. I'm glad it finally got done, just so that we can finally speak truth to reality, which is this game is so far gone, right? He's so far gone. I was watching clips earlier today, Donray, of our time, right? The 90s, Jordan, Bird, Isaiah, um, all of them. And they're out, they're D'ing each other up like it's a regular season game,
And
right?
even in the 2000s, I mean,
Yeah.
Shaq
Kobe.
dumping on the Admiral and then coming back, and like they were really
Yeah.
getting it in.
And a lot of this changed with the next generation. Kobe, that was kind of the last hurrah of that generation that we know, which is 80s and 90s and early 2000s hoops. Um, yeah, so game, no good. The skills competition. I saw dudes trying to throw a bounce pass into that barrel thing that they got, and they can't even throw a bounce pass. Like what? And the
Yeah,
freaking barrel's like the size of a Mack truck. Like, you tell me you can't get a ball in there?
yeah.
Like, in the slam dunk contest, can we just
That
acknowledge the fact that for 2 years in a row, the guy who wins the slam dunk contest isn't even in the NBA? He's not even in the NBA.
the whole weekend is a joke, to be honest. I just look forward to the 3-point contest and
And
the
seeing who's
rest
at
of
the
it.
game. And seeing who's at the
Yeah,
game.
I
That's
mean
about it,
that's
right?
all it is at this point.
Sad,
So
man.
it is sad, but I don't
Sad.
have a solution. I hate to complain without a solution, but I don't even have a recommendation at this point. Um, other than, well, not other than, I mean, you name it, but unless you move, if you fully, instead of having the, well, no, I don't even agree with that. But I was going to say
Three on three.
the mid-season tournament
Oh,
championship game instead. But I don't even like that.
I don't even
So,
like that. Yeah, we talked about that in a previous
hmm
episode, right? That's like winning your Christmas tournament when you played in high school. Like,
hmm
good for you.
great.
Doesn't mean nothing about anything. So we've heard guys talk, and women are talking heads on some of the national networks talk about throw money at the event, more money for the winners. I don't think that's going to change it much. Maybe you've got to be innovative like the NFL did with the Pro Bowl. They did the flag football thing, and I thought that worked pretty well this year. Maybe it is 3 on 3. I don't know. I don't know. The 3-point contest works.
hmm
The slam dunk contest is done. I agree with Charles Barkley. The slam dunk and Stephen A. Smith, I think, said this actually. The slam dunk contest died when LeBron said he wasn't doing
Here's where I'll push back.
it. Okay, I agree with him.
I There's been multiple times in history that I thought the slam dunk contest was dead.
Well, yeah,
Let's
and then
let's
it
not pretend like,
agreed.
I
Harold
mean,
Miner and yep,
right, like
D Brown.
before Vince
This is
Carter,
the best dunk. That's what wins the slam dunk contest. D
right,
Brown, really?
right. It went down for a while, and then when I mean, there were a
Yep,
couple okay years, but a real year where there were multiple, like, oh my
yep.
God, new stuff. No shade to Richardson and his years, but
He had a
when
couple
when
nice ones. Jason
he
Richardson had
did,
a
because
couple
he went
nice
back to
ones.
back, and then
Yeah,
Nate Robinson did some cool things. But at the end of the day, when Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Steve Francis went nuts, that was like, oh my God, this is beyond
yeah.
amazing. And then it was, and then it dropped. And then what Zach Levine and Aaron Gordon were able to do.
Blake Griffin too. Much respect.
Oh, you're right, Blake
Yeah.
Griffin. So it's had some times where I'm like, oh, no, it's still got stuff left. And then I'm like, and right now I'm like, no. But it was just a couple years ago that I saw arguably the best one when Gordon got robbed, in my opinion, to Zach Levine.
Hmm.
And so I can't be 2 years removed from that, or 2 or 3 years removed.
A little more than that, because he was with the Timberwolves when he won that. Levine, and he's been with the Bulls for a little while. So
Has it been
yeah, it's been a little while.
three? We'll say 3 years then.
No,
I
it's
don't think it
more
was
than
more
three.
than
It's
three.
more than three.
I think it was McClung, and I think it was him.
Yeah, no, it was way longer than that.
You think someone won before McClung?
Levine's been with the Bulls at least 5 years.
No, he
Yes,
hasn't.
yes. Chicago hosted the All-Star game in 2020. right before COVID, Levine was on that team. That's when, yeah.
Jeez.
So it's been a while.
Wow. Okay. So then, yeah. So then it is the perfect time to hit that feeling. But then you watch some of this crazy stuff, this street dunk contest, these other things, and there are dunks that you haven't seen in an NBA dunk contest that are out there that people have done that are crazy.
Yeah,
So I'm not going to say I'm done with it because there are folks who can take it up to one more level. Um, and it's a matter of an NBA player. It's not going to be a star, but it's going to be someone at the end of the bench who's trying to make a name for themselves, and they'll be able to do their thing. I think the time of the superstar dunk contest, big names
that's
making
gone.
a splash, that's gone. But I still think you can get something out of a. I know because I've seen with my own eyes some crazy dunks that haven't been done yet.
Yeah, and that's where I agree with Stephen A. The era of the NBA stars participating, that started to die
That
when
yeah,
LeBron said he wasn't doing
okay,
it, right?
yeah, that
And
piece, sure.
yeah, and Stat Boy just called in. Zach Levine's last season with Minnesota was 2017.
Oh my
It's
goodness,
been a minute, right? It's been a minute. That was almost 10
that
years ago. It's great. It's 7 years ago. It's nuts.
that is crazy.
Yeah. But to our listeners, right? Think about this. We're talking about Dr. J, right? We're talking about Dominique. We're talking about Jordan. We're talking about, man, I'm just going through all these guys in the 80s that participated. And then, of course, like you said, when Kobe won the 1 year, right? That was amazing. We had
Yeah,
some
I
down
mean
years.
Dwight Howard's at the top of his game when he was doing it.
These were
Um,
stars, right? Vince Carter,
T-Mac and
Blake
Vince,
Griffin.
Steve Francis was a star at the time. I mean,
Blake Griffin was pretty much the
Blake
last
Griffin
star.
was, you're right.
Pretty
Blake
much it.
Griffin.
When LeBron and the
Yeah.
part that Stephen A. Smith said that I agreed, and he even did it in the All-Star game, is that he doesn't compete in the slam dunk contest, but in pregame warmups or during the All-Star game itself, he's out there doing all these crazy dunks. It's like, really, you couldn't compete, you couldn't do this. So yeah, and then just think about that, because if he does it, Dwayne Wade's out there. Uh, Kevin Durant might even compete. Like, just think about how the slam dunk contest changes over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
There we go.
so as we wrap up, we got a third of the season left. What are your quick hot takes in the NBA as the mad dash to April?
Well, I'm going to start out with my Sixers and simply say that Kyle Lowry's comments couldn't have took me from a place of there's no chance that this season's going to be anything. There's no chance Embiid gets back healthy to all of a sudden, for no good reason other than his words, being so perfect that the Sixers, Embiid does come back healthy. He can take his time. He may come back to a sixth or seventh
Yeah,
seed team. Sixers make a run to at least a conference finals. Lowry is dead set on making Maxey a better player. That's his number one job, he says.
that was cool.
He can't have a better mentor than that. So at the East, I definitely see that. I think the Bucks continue to tailspin. Um, and because of where the Sixers will be placed, they'll actually take out the Celtics early. Now, will they end up, you know, that's in the bed against, someone like a Cleveland who's on fire? We'll see. Um, so that's what I got. I got a surprising second half by the Sixers. I think Cleveland takes it up even another notch. Um, the break came at a perfect time for them. They were hot, but they were getting back new players. And if they would have started losing, it would have caused, problems. But now you had the break to blame it on. Gather yourself. I think they come back even hotter. It's a well put together team. So I look for the Sixers in Cleveland to make a push. Well, Sixers to stay afloat and then see Cleveland somehow in the finals if seeding works out. And then in the West, I think the Nuggets tickets another gear, showing why they're champs and become the biggest threat if they're not already. Um, and the Lakers, I mean, I think they think they can turn it on when they want. I wouldn't be surprised if they miss the playoffs. I won't be surprised.
Well, when we look at the standings right now, if the playoffs were to start now, you want to talk about a lot of intrigue for the playing game. You would have Lakers against Golden State
Golden State.
in the 9-10 matchup, which would be wild. Um, but yeah, I've got a lot of curiosity as to what's going to happen in the West, because if things hold on, and I think they will, you got Minnesota in the 1 seed and Oklahoma at the 2 seed. Um, that feels pretty familiar to last year where it was Sacramento. Sacramento's the 8 seed right now, which is
Hmm.
unbelievable. But that also speaks to just how competitive the West is, because they're only, Sacramento is only 2 games out of the 4 seed, I think, when I look at the standings. So um, yeah, the West is exciting because Sacramento, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, cool, right? We got some new blood in there again.
Yep.
I'm liking the way things are shaking up for the Sixers. I really do. I think they're playing the Joel Embiid piece smart. I love the Kyle Lowry pickup too, and everything that we're reading out of Philly. And yeah, because right now they're sitting in the 5 slot, right? They win that first round game. They're playing Boston. I don't have a lot of trust in Boston, but if Boston shows up, then they'll get to the finals, right? If they play
Hmm.
the way they're supposed to, but they haven't done that. Um, and then yeah, Cleveland, Milwaukee. If Philadelphia is at full strength with Joel Embiid, I have just as much confidence, if not more, in them than anybody else in the East, without a doubt.
Yeah. Do you think Milwaukee gets out the first round?
I
There's a
do.
lot of basketball to play, but I mean, on a 3-7.
I think they'll figure it out because am I a fan of the excuses that Doc Rivers is throwing out there right now? No. However, the team has been hurt since he's arrived there, right? You had guys dinged up, so they're not at full strength. When Middleton's ready to go, with Dame, they're going to be all right. They're going to win. They're going to be all right. Are you going to win in the playoffs? Are you going to win those game sevens? I think they will because I think you got 3 ballers. I think you got 3 guys who are going to play, um, and they're going to show up.
But it sounds like the caveat is they have to stay healthy.
They got to stay healthy. That's the
Every
key.
team has to stay healthy theoretically, but if other teams don't stay healthy, do they have the culture and leadership to get over that? Some do.
I believe they do. I believe they do. I just don't know if they're going to stay healthy because that's the risk when you trade for veterans like you do. You don't
Mhm.
know with Dame Lillard in
We'll
particular.
see.
I hope so because I love Dame's game. I love the way he approaches the game. So
Me
I'm a
too.
fan.
I just don't. We'll see. I'll
I
stay
would
tuned.
listen, get your popcorn ready because if we have an Eastern Conference Finals where it's Milwaukee against Philly, get your popcorn ready. That's going to be a great
I don't
matchup.
see Milwaukee going anywhere with that defense. They just don't.
They don't. That's what happens when you get rid of Drew Holiday, right? So
And you don't just get rid of him. He ends up at your top competitor
yeah,
in your. I mean, what are you doing? How
yep.
does Boston get Drew Holiday? How does that happen? Jeez. They
And
lose
Kristaps
Marcus Smart. They
and
lose
Kristaps
Marcus Smart and
Porzingis.
replace him with and get. Come
Porzingis is
on, bro.
healthy. Porzingis is actually healthy.
How does that happen?
Kudos to them. They took a
Jesus.
risk and look at how it's playing out. So
Yeah, good for them.
yeah, a lot of season left. And Chicago, thank you for keeping everyone and guaranteeing that we're going to stay in the play-in bracket. Love it. Great job. Way to aim for the mud and hit it. Fantastic. Appreciate
All
y'all.
right.
Remember
All
the
right.
last dance? Remember the last dance, the very last screen that they traded everybody, and then they ended up by saying the Bulls began their rebuild. That was 28, 26 years ago. We're still rebuilding. So thank you, Jerry Reinsdorf. Appreciate you.
Stop it.
Great vision,
Y'all
Jerry
made a
Reinsdorf.
run with D Rose. Just got
That was like 10 years ago now, man. I'm just saying. That was like 10 years ago now.
That's true. That's
Just
true.
saying. Just
Well,
saying.
what are you
To our
gonna do?
people, peace and love,
All right.
y'all.
Peace.
This was fun.